you think of the last 3 years of success this club has had, Richard has been an integral part of that. And when you look around this room and around this hospitality suite, all the pictures of Wembley twice, Old Trafford, we've had a great journey, and Richard has been key to that. And I want to put on record my thanks from personally and from the club for everything he's contributed.
When he arrived, could you have thought he could have achieved as much as he did at the club?
Well, when we arrived, we were languishing, and the club was possibly nearly dying. So between us, and it's a team effort from Jez and everybody else, we've actually taken hold of this football club, worked with a great team and achieved the successes. And now as a board, we just need to take on that responsibility to say, right, the next part of the journey, and we have to make difficult decisions.
I heard some supporters last night on our phone in talking about Richard in the same breath as Bill Levers, as John Beck, which I guess illustrates the point you're making, really, the impact he made.
Exactly. He's in the history books of this football club in one of the greatest periods, and you could argue almost the greatest period, because we actually got back into the league by winning matches, and we actually won our first national trophy. And who will forget those days at Wembley? And then lucky old ball 30 came out, and who will forget that Friday night against Man United and the trip up to Old Trafford? No one will ever forget it, and it's formed the basis for this club going forward.
What next then? Joe Dunn in charge, I think, for this week. What about beyond that, Jez?
Yeah, I think, again, Nick, the most important thing today is to be respectful to Richard and to place on record our thanks for what he's achieved for this football club, and to be respectful to Joe and the staff and the players. I met with Joe yesterday. You know, we did things yesterday in the right way. Richard heard first, then gathered the coaching staff and then the players to inform them of the decision. Asked Joe to lead the coaching staff this week and to prepare the players for the game on Saturday. So spoke to Joe last night. I'm going to go to the training ground this morning, and I think it's right and proper that we are respectful to him. It's an important game Saturday, and the club at the minute just need to, focus on that. What comes next comes next.
Has he said whether his hat's in the ring? Has he said whether he wants the job, Joe?
He said that he's more than happy to take training yesterday, which he did. He's going to take training again today, and he's going to prepare the team for Saturday. And I think, the FA Cup is an important competition for this club. Saturday's an important game, and our focus today certainly should just be about, giving the staff and Joe particularly every opportunity to prepare the players in the best way for Saturday.
I know you obviously explained you want to be respectful to Rich and what have you, but where do you go from now in terms of a timescaling in recruiting someone else potentially for the role?
I think in the next half an hour, definitely go to the training ground and see Joe and the staff and watch training today and help them to prepare for the game on Saturday, because that is the focus. And of course there'll be a process, but I think it's right and respectful that we don't need to announce everything today, we don't need to detail that today. I think it's right that we're respectful for Richard first, and that whatever headlines are in the newspaper, whatever sound bites are on the radio or television today are about Richard Money and what he's achieved for this football club, not who's going to potentially take over from him.
And I mean, Dave was saying about what he's achieved. I mean, you've obviously worked very closely with him right from the off. So can you tell us a bit more about how your relationship with him and how that's been?
Yeah, I think for the first 18 months especially, I was on the bench with him every game and worked very, very closely with him. That's changed a little bit since the change in my role last October. But I would say we had a good relationship. I've got a huge amount of respect for him as a person and a football coach and manager. And yeah, it's always difficult when those relationships stop, but that's football. And the meeting we had with Richard yesterday, Dave and myself went to see him yesterday, and they're difficult meetings, but Richard and I have had a lot of those meetings together with players as well. So I think very respectful of his ability, and we're obviously all very grateful for what he's achieved for the football club.